100%. You said exactly the right thing to make this click for me, where my understanding of this work has completely changed. 100%. And that might be my very favorite thing about doing this show, is forcing me to examine my opinions, justify why I feel a way about a thing, and having that opinion changed, sometimes forcefully.
And that's kind of a mirrored sentiment, is that not just...
And those are some instances where, not in a podcast environment, but I do find myself a lot of times liking a book and enjoying it, picking it up and learning more about it, whereas initially my first reaction might have been, you know what, this is not something that I would want to pick up. So it's definitely, in terms of being a genre, comics I think are such a large and broad area, and there's so much access to creators.
I wasn't going to do this podcast. I had no intent to do this podcast. I'm still not sure how it happened entirely.
Joe tricked you.
Yeah, I was deceived into this. And a lot of my reasons for not wanting to be really insecure about that, like some complete stranger may not like what I think. And I sort of ended up helping on the side with this, and suddenly that sort of disappeared. It kind of created a sense of confidence where it was like, well, what's the problem if somebody doesn't agree with me? What exactly is the problem if somebody doesn't like what I have to say? Does that take anything away from what I care about? And it really doesn't. And that can be the weirdest feeling in the world, to sit back and go, wait a minute, why am I not scared anymore? Like, why am I not afraid to express myself? But once you get past that point where you're afraid of other people's thoughts about what you do creatively or otherwise, you stop caring. You're a monster. You can do whatever you want. And it really does. It makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel like a superhero. You kind of get up in the morning and you're like, I can make things. I can do things. I don't have to be afraid about what other people think. And
to let the smallest thing just becomes the biggest thing in your mind. And it's just, once you let that go and
talk until they are just completely exhausted, and I'm not intimidated or afraid of them.
And then you're still not going to stop talking.
Oh God, I'll never stop talking.
Yeah, never.
But it's an incredible set of armor just to feel like I know something. I can hold a conversation. I can talk on a subject, and that gives you the power to interact with people on a level that you never thought that you could.
Speaking on and speaking to interaction, I didn't know how on earth I would be able to succeed at doing that thing when people would come up to me in high school and I'd be drawing or something, and they'd be like, "Can I see that?" And I'd be like, "No." How do you make a comic if you don't learn that what you're doing is valuable, and the things you're doing with your time, the things that you care about, are valuable? I'm hoping, if there are creative people here, that you learn the most important thing is that you keep doing what you're doing. Particularly, because the fact that you're spending the time doing it must mean that it matters to you. So I'm hoping that everybody is quicker on the uptake than I was, gets their armor quicker, gets their creative stuff on sooner, and learns that there are tons and tons of people trying to do the same thing that you're doing. So you're kind of not alone. You shouldn't be shy. I know that being shy is, you feel like you can't avoid it sometimes, but I grew up very, very quiet, and now I go home and visit my parents in California, and every time I come home, my dad starts holding his head. He's like, "It's like you didn't talk for the first 10 years of your life." And now I'm just like, I'm sitting in a lecture hall and I'm like,